a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Welcome to the Restricted Section, the podcast that breaks the illusion of Harry Potter, just like the author has broken the hearts of thousands of fans. If you haven't done the reading, don't worry, we did it for you. Here's what we're talking about this week. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Chapter 10, Kreacher's Tale, in which we learn what happened to the locket. I'm your host, Christina. My co-host today is Andrew. Say hello to the listeners, Andrew.
Hey, yeah, hi, listeners. But Tina, why all these sad episodes? Why am I getting these sad?
You got the obituary. You got the something else probably.
Was it the wedding? No,
you got the one before that.
Yeah,
probably.
right before the wedding.
Moody's death.
Were you on for Moody's death? I think you were on, Andrew, for the will of Albus Dumbledore.
Yes, and then the obituary as well.
Yeah, the obituary, and now you're here.
Yeah, this.
It's a funny story that Kreacher tells us.
Is funny where we? Okay, we'll get there. Okay.
It's literally horrifying every inch of the way. But our guest today is our friend Clare. Say hello to the listeners, Clare.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a while. Remind the listeners what your pronouns are, please.
My pronouns are they, them.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Claire. It's really good to get you on the show. Listeners, you may remember Claire from, oh my God, like all of them. Okay, let me just do a Control F.
You don't have to do this every time.
But I really like to for some reason. Claire, you first came on for Goblet of Fire, Chapter 29, The Dream, and that was in March 2022. You also came on Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 14, Percy and Padfoot. You came on Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 4, Horace Slughorn. That's a solid one. But that's also why it feels like it's been such a long time, because that was Chapter 4. Mm-hmm. And that was almost a year ago.
Yeah, probably my favorite chapter in the entire series. So,
really?
Yeah, I think I reached out to you like last February before we recorded
you got in
Half-Blood, and I was like, I want this chapter.
And I'm always happy to schedule something early. So I was like, yes, friend, I will put you on the schedule. So where does this book fall for you, like in your ranking?
It's just like a lot. It's probably like in the middle of the pack. It's just sort of like, it's probably like third or fourth, because it's just like so much information and so much death and so much unnecessary trauma.
Yes, agreed on all fronts.
Well, Claire just summarized the entire chapter, so are we just good here, or?
No! This is my favorite chapter for a reason.
Do you want to tell us now why this is your favorite chapter? Or do you want it to reveal itself to us throughout the discussion?
I don't know. I think my reasoning will come out in the discussion. I just love Regulus Black, and I think...
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think...
We love some Regulus lore.
Yes,
We love his arc, even though it happens off screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get into it. I feel like we're being really efficient today, y'all. It's kind of alarming me. We're just already going to start talking about the chapter.
Just a few old pros.
Okay.
I mean, I can get on a tangent if you want me to.
Well, let's at least get you on a Harry Potter tangent. So this chapter starts with Harry awaking in Grimmauld Place the morning after the previous chapter. You might remember he had a bit of a vision, a bit of a nervous episode. He was unwell, but he went to sleep, and now he has awoken. They all slept in the same room, which is very cute. And Ron first of all, there's some British propriety happening here, because if me and any two of my friends in the world were in this position, there's definitely a king-size bed in this house. We are all three sleeping in the king-size bed.
Why are they in sleeping bags? I don't understand this.
I don't either, especially since they spent so much time cleaning the house. Like, it's not gross.
Molly Weasley, before they left, made sure to buy 3 very separate sleeping bags just so that everyone would keep it kosher the entire time.
I just have to say, I get that that's a riff and a joke, but I just have to say that no one would have done that less than Molly Weasley because she deeply did not want them to go.
She wouldn't help in any way.
No, and she's probably so sad and scared right now. She's still probably hosting her in-laws.
While sad and scared.
While sad and scared and probably under surveillance.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
That's... the only thing where it was, from what I've been told, of being in the presence of your in-laws would be to be under surveillance from the occupied government.
Oh my God.
I feel like just being with your in-laws, just having to deal with war, that sort of just, it makes the anxiety and the little jealous things about being with your in-laws 10 times worse.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep thinking of Captain Von Trapp, though, and I'm like, well, he handled war pretty well. Just tear that Nazi flag in half and go into the mountains. You'll be okay. What a daddy. Anyway, what? Daddy, what? Sorry, I cannot stop thinking about Captain Von Trapp once it starts.
Oh no, I'm caught in his Von Trapp.
Good joke, Andrew.
Thank you.
Ron and Hermione allegedly, reportedly, fell asleep.
No actual evidence except for sheer loneliness.
But I think they did.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in the movies, it's like really obvious. In the books, I think it's like an extrapolation. But they probably fell asleep holding hands, and Harry's just like, oh. Claire, how would you feel if you were Harry in this moment?
I mean, I feel like Harry's very stupid.
He is. You are much less
True.
stupid than Harry.
I think that was the final straw that he was like, oh, there is something going on there.
Even he can't deny it.
Yeah. It's just the final, oh, this is actually happening.
Okay. We're all in agreement, right, that if Harry ever showed Hermione that book, that he would have like fucked things up for the entire future of this series,
I don't know,
right?
because women who are attracted to men are forced to find the dumbest shit very charming and endearing. You know what I mean? Like, the standards, you get to date women, Andrew. The standards are so low, she probably literally would be like, oh, he tried. That's the bar. That's the bar for men. Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know if Hermione at 17 would be there yet, but that is where I am. Oh my God. You did the dishes that we both are obligated to do. You love me. Also, Harry, bro, you can also hold their hands, okay? Whenever you want to. All you gotta do is ask. It doesn't even occur to him.
Yeah, I don't think he would ever ask.
No way in hell.
No. Be serious, y'all. Be serious, okay? This is a serious podcast that we take things seriously on.
This is a Regulus podcast. Don't get it twisted. See, the joke is different now. It's changed over the years.
I was just not expecting that. Okay.
So Harry's like laying there thinking, same. He's like, Dumbledore, now I'm mad at you and it's really awkward because you're dead. Also been there.
Man's a war criminal. He can be angry all he wants.
Harry goes upstairs. The room that he and Ron used to sleep in is totally wrecked. It's obviously been searched. The whole house has been searched and ransacked. He goes up farther. I'll have you know, further is for abstracts and farther is for distance. He goes up farther.
You took that explanation further than I thought you would.
See, it's harder. It's tricky. That couldn't be my father from the truth. He goes up farther. Now, that's a fake word now. I've said it too many times. Farther. That's crazy. That word is very silly. Mm-hmm. It's like a Lewis Carroll word.
And then you explained the similar word to us, and that just made it sillier, so.
Like, why is there, like, a slight variation on farther to further?
I'm not Haley. I can't tell you.
I'm
sure Haley would have the exact date at which the words split from each other, or how they actually are from two completely separate different words that had nothing to do with each other.
Well, congratulations. Now we're doing it. Farther. First of all, they are related. Okay, good. Farther is late 14th century, and then further. So it started as further. My guess is that further and far merged. That's my guess. You feel me? But maybe not.
And which one is further again?
That is the abstract one. That is like, that's not like actual distance.
I literally couldn't even figure out what you were asking me. I was like, what's the joke here? I don't.
Well, so that means that we needed a word to theoretically describe a longer distance before we needed to actually describe the longer distance.
Oh my God, guys. This etymology is actually pretty long. Old English further, it basically was invented as further in Old English, which is pretty cool. That word is unchanged, which is awesome. The spelling is different, but that's because spelling was completely made up until like 70 years ago.
When it was still made up, but it was more centralized and
I mean, I still think it's made up right now, so...
It's all made up.
Spell color. Spell it right now.
It comes from forther, like go forth.
Fourth. Okay.
That's where further comes from. Oh, but then there's an alternate etymology, and it's like, are both true, or is just one of them true?
Ooh.
Furthera, also meaning for whatever. And then it's like, are these all just the same? Are all of these etymologies the same because of Proto-Indo-European, which is a hypothetical made-up language that probably exists? Anyway,
I was not expecting this, and this is an interesting history lesson. Yeah.
This tangent went much further than I would expect.
I think that you already did that joke. You don't get to do it again.
I think that this joke has some serious legs and that I could take it even further.
I could take you further.
Or farther if we actually go.
I was gonna say I accidentally made that song definitely about sex by making it the abstract version instead of the physical version. I can take you further, baby. Anyway, etymology corner with the etymology bitch. Did I give you any answers? No. Welcome to etymology. So Harry goes up the stairs to Sirius's room. It's totally frozen in time as a teenager room. Big Griff energy. There's like Gryffindor shit. There's pictures of motorcycles, motorcycle manuals, and there's, most importantly, posters of naked Muggle girls.
Okay, I have a very interesting different read on this whole room.
Okay.
Oh.
This is gender fluid Sirius's gender envy. This is
Ooh.
Yeah, this is gender envy, and he puts up these bikini pictures up because that is the perfect idea of a woman at the time. So
totally in like the 60s or 70s, the 70s, right?
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah,
70s
totally. I bet one of them is Farrah Fawcett.
Obviously.
Goldie
Which
Hawn.
I also have gender envy for that specific era of Farrah Fawcett.
Which eras of Farrah Fawcett do you not have envy for? Because I
just
have
don't.
envy.
I just don't know what she has looked like since that portrait. That portrait, like she's a queen. Okay, Claire, I love that. I mean, it's definitely a lot more interesting to think about than like hot hottie who is different and edgy wants to look at naked girls.
Yeah, I was just like, this doesn't read well for gay Sirius who was down bad for Remus Lupin. So I was like, how do I make this like less creepy?
Unless his parents were like, if you're gay, you're going to lose the inheritance or something. And this was before he was ready to lose the inheritance. And he was like, I'm not gay. Look at Farrah Fawcett.
I'm not gay. Boobs. Yeah.
Look at those,
boobs.
like bags of sand.
I want them near me.
Mm-hmm.
You sound pretty gay, Andrew.
All the boobs.
You're convincing me right now. Harry's like looking around a little bit. He's like, this is all mine. It is.
I own everything.
He's like, all your memories belong to me. He finds a picture of the Marauders, which let's recap. Hot dad. Mm-hmm. Hot Uncle Sirius. Mm-hmm. You can tell that they're good people too because they're hot.
Obviously.
Remus Lupin, handsome but visibly poor.
Mm-hmm. Shabby.
Even though they all... Okay.
You're not poor if you're British, Tina. You're shabby.
When Remus Lupin is first described in The Prisoner of Azkaban on the train, he's described as shabby. Mm-hmm. And, like, to me, that means, like, poor. Like, you look like you have not been taking care of yourself, like washing and, like, brushing and, like, washing your clothes. And stuff's, like, generally falling apart like you're shabby. But I wonder if there's, like, another definition that means you look, like, haggard a little bit, like the way that you would look if you were perhaps a werewolf and didn't get good night's sleep. But then I also wouldn't put it past J.K. Rowling to just be like, as a reminder, he's poor.
And poor is bad.
Yes. Remember that you're poor. Poor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Merriam-Webster is the only dictionary that matters other than Urban Dictionary. Defines shabby, number 1, clothed with worn or seedy garments. And the example phrase is a shabby hobo. Don't love that. Number 2, A, threadbare and faded from wear. Number 2B, ill-kept or dilapidated. Definition 3A means mean, despicable, or contemptible, which I don't think I've ever heard. It goes on to say ungenerous, unfair. I don't think I've heard that usage. So it really does just mean you look poor.
I was going to say, it's ringing more true to me of like a sophomore in college.
Shabby? Oh, yeah, because
pretty much every one of those definitions fits.
Or like their house, at least.
Oh, the house, them, the clothes, everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Somehow you like know that they're not doing great by seeing their dishes, which never doesn't make any sense. But like,
no, it does. It really
you
does.
see the dishes.
Their sink is just horrible.
Oh God, yeah. No dishwasher in that house. No,
definitely not. Oh my God, Mary Clay just got approved for a new apartment, and I'm thinking about it right now. Am I remembering correctly that she's going from no dishwasher to dishwasher? I think that's right.
It sounds right.
God,
that's a change.
I'm so happy for her. She's going from no dishwasher to one dishwasher, and she's going from one bedroom to 2 bedrooms. Wow. And she's going from bigger rent to smaller rent. So all in all, we're very happy for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big upgrade.
And now we're going to play America's favorite game. We're going to give out her old address, and everyone can do whatever they want with it.
I don't think you can get into the building. Okay, and then we're still looking at the picture. Then there's fat, shitty Peter Pettigrew.
Mm-hmm. Because fat always means evil in these books.
Yeah, how could they not know as kids that he was going to be evil because he was fat?
They nicknamed him Wormy. That is just setting him up for hatred.
But they did that with love. That was the way that they showed kindness and affection to this boy.
If you ever nickname me after a worm, I'm never talking to you again.
Claire, if I nicknamed you after a worm, would you still love me? What is it that the girlies say? If I was a worm, would you still love me?
Tina, we've been friends for a long time. I think it's time for us to make official friendship names. You will be Dung Beetle.
I deserve it. I actually do need to scoop the litter boxes today. One thing this chapter has, kind of like the Peter Pettigrew thing, is like a lot of things that are being said without saying them. A lot of them happen during the Kreacher encounter, so I'll get to them. But what is being said here is Peter Pettigrew, visibly a villain because of his size and his cowardly face. I don't know. They're always just... It's like, talk about what he did. You don't need to talk about what he looks like.
I think my favorite part of the whole description of everyone, though, is that I think it says that Lupin knew how lucky he was to be part of the coolest club.
Like, what on earth?
Like he was a charity case as a friend.
He's a charity case, and that implies that the coolest club is just Sirius and James.
That's so stupid.
I mean, they're hot, so...
They are hot. This is Harry's brain. I don't know why I'm thinking of fucking Danny Zuko and Kaneki, and it's like, the coolest boys in school. And it's like, well, yeah, but there's a lot of people out there who think you're really big douchebags also. So, like, what's the truth here?
Just like in life, probably both.
Harry then finds part of a letter from Lily to Sirius, which is very sweet and sad.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. This didn't make me feel emotions I hadn't felt in a long time suddenly.
Like, literally trigger warning for, like, missing your mommy.
Yeah, it's just... Especially when he talks about how, like, her handwriting looks like his, and I'm just like...
I know.
Oh.
I know.
Which, does that also mean that Petunia's handwriting makes G's the same way?
Well, do you want to know what's funny is my handwriting doesn't look anything like either of my brothers, but my handwriting does look like both of my parents. And so the question is, was I more eager to please as a kid? So I was like copying them. Did I forge their signatures a lot as a kid? Yes, I did. Is that where I got it from? Did they spend more time with me and my handwriting than my brothers? Probably.
I definitely remember that there are certain, like, 2s and 7s specifically, which I know those are numbers, not letters, but specifically those, I know 1000% I do them the way I do because I was copying my dad.
Yeah, my mom's name is Susan, and she, like, made up this, like, fake cursive S because it's, like, her name and it's jazzier. And, like, I still just do my S's like that, even though it's just wrong.
Valid. I understand.
The one she made up is pretty jazzy, though. It looks pretty good. So in the letter, it's a bit of a look into Harry's infancy. It's a letter that Lily wrote to Sirius because she misses him, which is, like, really sweet. To think of, like, loving your spouse's best friend this deeply, I just think is, like, really sweet. Sirius got Harry a broom, which is cute because Sirius also got Harry the firebolt. So it's, like, a bit of a...
Full circle.
A bookend, yeah. Some other things we learned. They're friends with Bathilda Bagshot, who will probably never come up again. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure that won't matter. That name hasn't been mentioned like 5 times in the last, like...
For no reason.
Absolutely not foreshadowing at all.
It's like, what on earth?
Average Bathilda Bagshot mentions per book, it's like 6.3, but about 20 of them occur in this book, so, you know.
Yeah, it's true. And we never even get to meet her. She's, I think, currently already dead. Or similar.
Yeah, but she hasn't been possessed by a snake yet, so everything's fine for her.
Everything's fine, yeah. Rest in peace.
Even if she's dead, her status is actually better than it's going to be in just a bit.
Oh my god.
So.
That's a very weird way of looking at mortality. Could always be worse.
That's like the bear argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
The risk of death is better than whatever you have to offer a random man in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Andrew, no, you're the bear. So it's just like the first page of this letter. So it mentions that Dumbledore had borrowed James's invisibility cloak. Why? Why? He can turn his damn self invisible. Why did he need that cloak?
It's definitely doesn't have anything to do with that James is just like Harry and would find any excuse to sneak off. But if he doesn't have the cloak, he can't sneak off. That has
oh my god.
Absolutely nothing to do
with the decision at all, I'm sure.
That makes perfect sense. That's so funny. It did not even occur to me at all. But I suppose I would do the same.
At least, like, for the first few weeks, right? Because, like, it's still supposed to be relatively early into the the occupation of the house, right? So, like...
Yeah.
Just, like, make them do a couple months without the invisibility cloak before you give someone who's a known troublemaker an invisibility cloak.
Yeah.
And say, now, don't you use this.
Shit. She's talking about Harry's birthday. No, she's talking about James's birthday?
No, it's Harry's birthday. Because that was the reason for Sirius to get the broom. It was a birthday gift.
Okay. So we assume that this might be, like, mid-August.
Yeah, so 2 months until
They have
death.
2 months left to live. Claire, our brains were in the exact same place. 2 months left to live. You guys know, have either of you played Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm sure there's other games like this, but the whole game premise is that it's a countdown. And every time a new day starts, it's like 2 days remaining.
Doesn't cause any stress at all when you're a kid.
No, it's really fun. It's so fun. My mom and I were in an escape room over there the weekend. And she was like, you guys are so good at this. I don't even know what to do. Classic mom. And I was
abstractly.
I was trying to explain to her that we...
not farther.
Oh, damn it. That was too good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was trying to explain to her that the reason my brothers and I are good at this is because we play video games. It's like the same kind of like thinking. And I said, more for my husband's benefit than my mom's, I said, you've never played a Legend of Zelda Water Temple, and that's why you're not good at escape rooms. And my mom said, well, I'd like to play. I'd like to try the Water Temple. And I was like, Mom, no. Mom, you can't go from Candy Crush to Water Temple with nothing in between. Come on.
It's one of those where you just want to get real big all of a sudden. You're like, oh, yeah, I bet you would. I bet you would. And you know what? I'd like to see it.
I would love to see that.
I would love to see you cry tears of misery and frustration. My
mom's a silly girl, kind of like me, and I just think it would be very funny, and she would be like, oh, oops, and she'd be like dropping the controller, and it's just, oh.
Oh, my.
So Harry okay, so the letter ends with like, something like, I don't know why Dumbledore, or like, does anyone have the text right in front of them?
Yeah, I don't know how much to believe, actually, because it seems incredible that Dumbledore...
Oh, that is so much more tantalizing than the way I phrased it. Like, what on earth could that be? Oh my god, so tantalizing. So Harry, obviously, as any of us would, desperately searches for the rest of the letter, but he can't find it.
This is foreshadowing to when he's going to be searching later on for the locket and not realize that he can just say, Accio locket.
Oh, in the Ministry? They do that here. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why
The lack of creativity is just...
I'm so tired.
I have maintained for a very long time that, like, the first modern non-magical person who was born magical, right? Like, first, like, one from 1985 on, roughly, could have just taken over the wizarding world. None of those people know how to think laterally. They don't know how to, like, think any other way except the only way they've ever done things before. Like, you could starve them by changing up their food selection. They would just not know what to do.
That's like cats.
Yeah, they would just be like, this isn't food. This isn't what I remember as food. And you could be like, that's a chicken. You've had chicken before. And be like, nope.
Not like this.
Not like that.
Not like that. Not like that.
I kind of get that way when I have to eat meat off the bone. I'm like, it's all different now. This isn't the experience I prefer.
But I'm just saying,
and yes, that means I don't love wings. Come for me. I'll still eat them. I'm not a weenie, but I just don't like it.
Okay. We all have our faults and our crosses to bear. It's brave of you to be so honest about it.
For the entire internet, I'm so proud of you.
I'm not going to stand beside you as you take the barrage that's going to inevitably come from this act. It's foolish in my opinion, but I really am proud of you for being so brave.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cowardice of being a contemporary carnivore. It's like, well, I don't want to really look it in the eyes like that. Please don't make me. Also, I don't like getting messy. I really hate eating with my hands if it's like messy at all. So that's the wings thing. Wings taste great, but Just too messy. And especially if I'm at a restaurant and I'm just sitting there with like my hands up and just, I can't even take a sip of my beer. I'm just only eating wings. Anyway, I hate it. Anyway.
See, that's what napkins are for.
I've seen it in person. She just stares around at people and goes, "Ha! Ha! Ha!"
Did you say napkins, Claire? Napkins are not sufficient. They are not
Ask for more napkins then.
I need at minimum 2 wet wipes, right? Like,
yes.
One mid-meal to, like, restart
Take
back at 0. Yeah. Rehydrate, breathe heavy for a little bit because you eat too fast.
If you let it accumulate over the whole meal, it's just impossible to get off. You have to take a halftime.
It's a sediment at that point. Like,
my hands are just this color now.
Oh, look, this is the rest of my life because it's too far gone.
I've been caught red-handed, but like barbecue sauce red.
Who stole my chicken wings?
Sorry, I would have laughed at that good joke if I was kind of joking. Water.
But yeah, just get one semi-competent person who can think a little bit outside of the box. Just a little bit, that's all.
They will never. They will never.
You're asking way too much of them.
That sounds very American of you. Why don't you go work for the Homeland Department of Magic or whatever the fuck it's called in Fantastic Beasts? Hermione soon comes looking for him, worried. On the one side, I understand her panic. On the other side, don't worry until you check the rest of the house. He could be anywhere in this house.
The house is a confined amount of space, and they had not checked all of that space. So yeah, you're absolutely right. There is literally no reason.
He wasn't within eyesight of her, and that makes her worried in every situation.
I know. But it's like when my friend Emily's dog Roscoe got out on Cape Hatteras. I was just like, am I worried? Sure. But it's an island. We're gonna win this one, guys. We're gonna get him.
Given enough time, we can search the whole thing.
They're noting still every room in the house has been searched, but by whom and why? They don't look closer. They're not like, I wonder if all the silver's missing, or they're not there yet. They're just like, it's a mess. We just fucking cleaned this whole house 2 years ago. Now we gotta clean it again. That sucks.
Who would have thought? 2 years of no one living there? Should be spotless still.
Spotless.
No, not no one. Literally a cleaning staff is living there.
Well, not
One
a very
person.
good cleaning staff.
It's a staff of one, so I don't know. I'm giving him a little.
Are you allowed to
leeway.
call it a staff if you don't pay him? Don't think so. I think you have to pay your staff.
He gets room and board, so...
That's true. Depending on the location. This is London, after all.
It does say the definition of staff is all the people employed by a particular organization. And I don't think it's technically employment. So I'm going to say no, it is actually an unstaffed residence. You're right.
It's bondage.
Slavery. Good.
It is slavery. Okay, we'll get to the slavery, guys. Don't you worry. You saw the name of the chapter. You know what we're doing.
There were some good slave owners, okay?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that audio clip to be taken out of context.
Do you want to know the funny thing? Today I was clearing out my voice memos on my phone. And I don't know if you remember, Andrew, but we used to record Movie Night Crew on my voice memos on my phone.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I found the raw recording of our entire Django Unchained episode. And I was I wonder what this is. And I skipped right ahead to the part where Haley was talking about how Sam Jackson had to convince Leo to stop being such a bitch about having to say the N-word so many times. So when you said there are some good slave owners, the person who popped into my head was Leo DiCaprio from Django Unchained. And I'm going to say, no, there aren't.
Well, and especially considering you thought of one of the most notoriously bad ones.
I know, he's the worst.
You know those people who are already willing to own other people? The worst of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how in 1904, other white dudes were being like, hey, Melville Dewey of the Dewey Decimal System, you're kind of being a little too racist and sexist. I mean, what do you got to do in 1904 to get that kind of review from your peers?
More than locker room talk.
Yeah, I don't want to think about how bad that would be.
It was pretty bad. I did some research about it. So Harry and Hermione are just kind of chit-chatting. Hermione is like, okay, I'm never going to be like, Hermione should do things differently because she's the only one doing anything right at all. But the way that she is kind of like emotionally dancing around Harry in this chapter feels condescending to me at 32. Harry kind of is feeling it. The way that she's like, oh, sweetie, I get why you want to go to Godric's Hollow. I really do. But we unfortunately have to do brain thinking with our brains. And that's a dumb heart decision.
Well, but she's not wrong.
No, she's definitely not wrong.
It does feel weird because it's one of the first times that Hermione doesn't handle a situation like that well. She's usually incredibly,
tactful, yeah.
Tactful and very well, plans out exactly the way that she wants to approach these things. But she just kind of fucks this one up.
Yeah. Yeah, I have many notes about Hermione's, how do I turn mansplaining into white savior mansplaining?
Yes. Big white savior energy. We're going to see some of that later in the chapter. Don't you worry. She's right, though. Harry wants to go to Godric's Hollow, and she's like, you know what? I would totally want to go see my parents' graves, too. And he's like, it's not just that. It's that I have questions about Dumbledore. And it's like, that's not a real problem either.
Yeah.
Right now. That's not, like, the thing we're doing. Mm-hmm. So it's not, like, a real explanation.
Harry, remember how we have that list of exactly one item, which is destroy Horcruxes, that we're trying to do right now?
To-do list is one item.
Yeah, that's not on our list, bud.
Yeah.
At least be clever enough to be like, but Hermione, I really think that there might be a Horcrux there.
Yeah, like Bathilda Bagshot might have the sword.
A history of magic, which is something that we had to study in school, and in school is where I was when Dumbledore told me that there were Horcruxes.
Like anything.
This is a clear sign.
But he's literally like, my heart, and she's like, not good enough, and he's like, but what about my heart in a different way? And it's like, still, no, we're still not doing what the heart says.
Look at this bag of straws. See how I can hold so many of them?
What?
Grasping at straws.
Mm-hmm. Oh. She is like, remember how those guys found us for no reason yesterday? Do you remember how scary and confusing that was? Let's work on that.
Yeah.
He literally reluctantly is like, fine.
Which, don't they say Voldemort's name multiple times in this chapter? Shouldn't they at least get like a knock at the door?
I don't think that's started yet. I think the implication is that starts later.
Yeah, I think that's after they start kidnapping people.
I thought that was the way they followed them in the into the cafe.
Oh man.
Because right after he says Voldemort's name, that's when they come in and sit down.
Oh, shit.
But Grimmauld Plate's been on a Protego charm for literal years, so I feel
wait, it's not Protego, it's the other one. The Fidelius.
Yeah, it's under the Fidelius charm for literal years, so I feel like a new taboo wouldn't affect it.
But that does bring up the question, because Dumbledore's charm to keep Harry locked in place failed when he got killed, and he's the one that cast that charm over Grimmauld Place, the Fidelius one, right?
Because remember when Dumbledore died, the Fidelius charm went into all of the people that he had told about Grimmauld Place. So it's like he doesn't have that magic anymore. It's been inherited.
Right. But like we know that like Snape's with I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying they should be able to get in, but like
give us a better reason.
Knock at the door, maybe throw stuff at the door. Oh, that would be great. They can't like get on.
They open the door and it's just like covered with eggshells.
Yeah, just like, why does the door smell so bad? Oh, God.
Who did this? Maybe the people who are hunting you, bud.
Hey, you creds, stay off my townhouse stoop. I think that they can't even see the house from where they are. Like,
Snape can.
Snape can.
And if they know that this one place keeps pinging on their places people save Voldemort, Matt.
Well, maybe they go on to not say Voldemort again. Did they say Voldemort in this chapter?
Very much in this chapter.
Yeah, because Kreacher says it a lot. And,
oh, yeah. What on earth? Well, maybe lowly house elves are beneath their notice.
I feel like...
I mean, that literal sentiment is used later on in this chapter.
Yeah, that's the whole basis of this chapter, bud.
So...
Why can't we take it a little bit further?
Yep. So on their way out of Sirius's room, Harry notices Regulus's room. And okay, here's the thing. Yes, even when Harry Potter is the one having ideas and figuring stuff out, he kind of isn't, because he's like, there's something. Give me, I'm working on it. Let me cook. And he's just like staring at the door plate with Regulus's name on it. And he's like, I swear to God, there's something here.
There's something here.
And then when it does like start to click, it starts to scare him because he's like,
Hermione!
I'm having an idea.
Come back.
Hermione!
This doesn't happen often, so be here while it happens.
Oh my God. I think it's a Bob's Burgers quote where she's like, I'm seeing a picture in my head. And Bob's like, that's called an idea, Lynn.
So how do you predict things, Mom? How do you do it?
I kind of close my eyes and an image appears in my brain.
That's called having a thought, Lynn.
I don't expect you to understand, Bob. You'll never understand the psychic realm. You know, I feel sorry for you.
Harry figured something out. Thank God. We needed him to figure something out.
He's our protagonist. 3 per book. So, I mean, it's really good that we got one this early.
Yeah. Are you drinking a high noon, Claire?
Yeah, this is a lemon high noon.
We keep those stocked in this house.
Yeah, it's my go-to alcohol besides red wine. And I was just like, this is not the red wine type of night.
I feel you. I'm drinking Cupcake white wine, which is, I don't really prefer Cupcake, but they had like some hip new packaging that confused me.
Lovely. It's cheap, so why not?
They literally tricked me into buying Cupcake wine. You know, I'm in my 30s. I don't need to be buying no Cupcake no more. If you like Cupcake, that is all you. But I don't, and I do better. So they're looking at the door. R.I.P. R.I.P. He was a Death Eater who tried to get out of the death. He tried to defect. So it kind of makes sense that he would have played this role, that he would have the information and the motivation to steal the real locket.
Anyways, moving on. Wait!
Wait, what?
Completely unrelated. Don't worry about him. He died way before this whole Horcrux.
I'm sure this has nothing to do with any... Wait!
So they go into his room. They search his room. It's big Slytherin energy. It says, like... It seemed like Sirius's room was, like, intentionally designed to prove how different he was from the rest of the family. But Regulus's room is doing the opposite, where it's like, look how much of a... pure blood purist bootlicker I am.
Which also, of course, Harry, who's going to grow up to be a freaking cop, sees
remind me.
The placard on the door saying "Do not enter unless given permission by such and such," and then he just goes right the fuck in.
Yeah,
because he owns this house now.
He owns this house, and also, like, I know we keep saying cop. But I really feel like Aurors are more akin to, like, detectives who kind of can.
Okay, he's still a cop
do
instead
shit.
of what he should be doing.
Yes, he definitely shouldn't be a cop, but it is, like, real Gryffindor energy to be like, I am the law and I'm above the law.
I strictly enforce the law, which I am far above myself.
Yes, literally.
These rules don't apply to me. They apply to everyone else.
But it is his house. But I think it's cute. The door says, do not enter except on express permission of Regulus Arcturo Black, which is I know that Harry says it's something Percy Weasley would have written, but to me it's giving no admittance except on party business. It's very, like, crotchety.
Yeah, it's giving old man, don't enter unless I ask.
Yes. They search for the locket, but no dice. They get Ron up there. Oh, and there's this bit where they're like, Ron, and they need to stop doing this to each other. They need to come up with, what do we call that thing in D&D, Andrew? The speaking stone or whatever?
Oh, yeah, the seeking stone.
Seeking stone. They need something that is not shrieking at each other across a gigantic townhouse. because like they keep panicking.
Yeah, they're talking at roughly the volume of like a Vietnam phone operator, right?
You have
like the Vietnam War like radio guy. That's like the roughly the volume at which everything is being communicated.
Yeah, you have to be heard every corner of this 2-story home. But
I get the impression it's like so much bigger than that. Right now they're on the 3rd floor and the kitchen is like in the basement. And I'm envisioning like the kind of house where when Mr. Bingley from Pride and Prejudice is like, oh, I'm going into town, into my non-country mansion, but my extremely large fuck you townhouse. That's like the vibe I'm getting from Grimmauld Place, but it's like so old.
yeah.
So Ron comes like running and Sean fucking hates when I do this. Hermione just wordlessly points instead of just explaining herself. And I'm not here to diagnose Ron, but I will diagnose my husband. And people who have ADHD, like a common symptom is like not understanding pointing.
In Sean's defense, if I am called into a room for something, that means that there's a sense of urgency that this needs to be figured out. And that someone someone has decided that we're at that level of urgency, which is enough that it should
figure
probably...
it out on your own.
But exactly, you're like, come in here real quick. This needs to be solved right now, but I'm not giving you all the pieces. You have to get to
Andrew,
where I'm...
You again betray your inexperience with dating dudes. Even if it's an emergency, I still need you to figure this out on your own, babe. You have all the evidence right in front of you. This, she probably could explain herself. When I'm like, Sean, can you hand me that cup? And then I point at a cup and he's like, cup?
Which cup?
I love him so much. I'm just teasing. And I never, ever get mad or anything. But sometimes I am like, I'm not going to tell you where the cup is. You have to find it on your own. And I would definitely pull some shit like this. But so Hermione just points at the nameplate, Regulus Arcturo Black. And it's like this look of realization like dawns across his face. And it's truly incredible that he figures out what they're talking about from this.
We get to see not one, but 2 different characters have a brain blast in
this
episode.
Harry and Ron, that's crazy.
That rarely ever happens.
I know. They're synchronized. Their cycles are synced.
It's not that I'm trying to take away a brain blast from Hermione, but that's just like normal processing for
She doesn't
Hermione.
need one.
Like, this is just another day for Hermione.
It's like saying, Claire, could you read one less book? And it's like, yeah, I mean, they'll be okay. They have a lot of other books they're going to read. As they're like giving up this search through Regulus's room, Hermione remembers. I love this so much. They all have undiagnosed ADHD, I swear to God. Hermione just like has a brain blast and like is staring off into space. Her eyes glaze over. She has like 1 foot up in the middle. That's the thing that gets me. The 1 foot up in the middle of a step. That's some youth balance right there. I don't have that balance anymore.
That's just not... See, that doesn't... Most people use momentum when they walk to like make it easier.
Like, she's marching.
So that would have been... Yeah, exactly. Unless she was marching, that would have been so... She would have fallen over.
How do we know she wasn't marching? She's on a mission.
She also, as smart as she is, knows literally nothing about physics, math, science.
I don't know. I think Hermione's the type whose parents would make her like study the physics books and whatnot.
Yeah, just for funsies.
She did it over summer school.
Like, we'll let you go learn magic, but you're going to get homeschool qualified for all of these classes.
Oh my God, I would totally do that.
I'm just saying, if being magical doesn't work out, you could be an accountant. Like, come on, there's other options. It's
good to have fallbacks. Mm-hmm. If being magical doesn't work out, like it didn't for Hagrid, it can all be taken from you. So Hermione remembers that her brain blast is that they have seen and held the locket. Harry is like, fuck, I held that thing in my own hands when they were cleaning out the house in book 5. They couldn't get it open and they threw it away. Which, Jesus Christ, that's so stressful to realize. Like, what do you do?
Why are they throwing out silver? They should not be throwing out that quality of silver.
That's just not how money works, babe. You can see, wizards are idiots. A muggle would know.
But the Potter family is ancient and most noble. It's clearly set for many generations. Yeah, it could still help. It could still help.
Yeah.
Every drop in the bucket is worth it.
Or like, let us talk again about the Weasleys. If I was Harry, which obviously the entire plot of the entire book would be so different because I would make every different choice possible. But if I was Harry, I would be like, Mrs. Weasley, since you've been spearheading this cleaning effort and you take such good care of all of us, let's host a big yard sale, even though we're protected and nobody can find the house. Let's sell all of this on eBay, even though we don't know how computers work. And you should keep the proceeds and put them in Ginny's book fund, or like make up some excuse that like takes it away from Molly. Yeah, but no, let's just throw silver in a garbage bag.
Instead, it was probably more close to everyone being like, hey, Harry, we have all this, silverware and stuff. What do you want to do with it, bud? Oh, I don't need that. Just throw it away. I don't want it anymore. Harry, you could give that to someone. No, this is the way it must be. Just throw it away. This is the way.
Yeah, well, when they were cleaning it in book 5, it was Sirius's house, and he was pretty moody. So maybe people were just like afraid to involve him, and they were like, I don't know, man, just throw it away. There's so much fucking shit in this house.
I still have that feeling though that like if I'm your friend and I'm helping you do all that work clearing out your house, and you're like, no, just throw it away. Then the moment that I throw it away, I'm throwing it away in the back of my car.
Yeah, it's mine.
You're never going to see it again. Don't worry.
Why can't I have it?
Somewhat like I am going to make you believe in sharing behind your back if you do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Technically, the moment it hits the garbage can in front of the house, like that's legal.
It's mine.
It's free for anyone, yeah.
Yeah, so might as well be me.
We threw it away. So they're like, okay, well, our only chance is that Kreacher stole it because he was stealing a lot. So let's hope he stole it. And they go to his room, in quotes. It's like the space under the boiler or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like not ideal.
Cabinet.
Oh, you mean a nice sauna retreat for a small...
It's where my cat would go to have babies. Like, it's not good. God damn. Okay, so let's get into it. So he's not in his room, so they summon him. Harry, the narrator, immediately describes him as, quote, a distinctly unlovable object.
Damn.
God. So things are going great.
Yeah, this is better than being called wormy.
Yeah.
An object. Unlovable is hard enough, but I get it. Harry doesn't love him, but like an object?
Yeah. No, this is the good guy. Remember, it's okay.
I mean, literally. So the rest of this conversation is when there's a lot of like low key things being said, where it's like the narrator / Harry is like, this is correct. And as the reader, you're like, no, this is not an unlovable object. This is a living creature that you are choosing not to extend love to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the two options, because I think that we are assuming that it's not the other big option in the room here, right? Which is that J.K. Rowling is just such a bad author that they didn't make the connection that, like, calling a servitude class an object, it's not like if you called another human an object to purposefully lower them, right?
Right.
This is already non-human, so it's fine.
And that's the connection that I would 100% see her not make, is like that these are not, it's not okay to make that insult.
Did you guys see? I'm sorry, I try not to talk too much about J.K. Rowling on the show, except to talk about how bad of a writer she can be sometimes. But did you guys see that Elon Musk, notorious transphobe, tweeted at J.K. Rowling being like, hey, I agree with everything you're saying, but have you considered like maybe ever posting about anything else? Mm-hmm. I think he specifically said posting more uplifting content or something like that.
Wow, yeah, I did not see that exact tweet, but Jesus.
That's a very classic Dewey Decimal, you're being way too sexist moment. I keep forgetting his first name's not Dewey. Sorry, I had to throw back the rest of my wine.
Yeah, that was exasperation in GIF form.
I know I don't talk about J.K. Rowling. Little update. I'm still really sad and exhausted by it. Little update for the listeners. I think Daniel Radcliffe was quoted recently saying something very similar. Like, it just makes me sad.
Yeah. Especially since he's doing things and she's not.
Yes, it's very pathetic. It's like, God, my ex-boyfriend wants me so badly. And it's like, I don't think your ex-boyfriend remembers that you live in the state. It's like that energy.
You remember last night he called your phone thinking that it was the saved number of a Pizza Hut. He literally forgot.
Well, that's just because his nickname for me is Pizza Slut.
Pizza Slut. I was like, maybe I shouldn't say that one. I don't know why that was the joke that I was holding back on. But yeah, he literally forgot he called you Pizza Slut in his phone.
Aww,
and then
he
got drunk and wanted Pizza Hut.
He just really gets me. So Kreacher admits to stealing the locket, like the trash, the real locket from the trash.
Yeah.
But then Mundungus Fletcher stole it from him when ransacking the house.
Great guy.
Harry demands a full story. He pulls the, this is an order.
My dude Harry. This is not how you interrogate.
I picture him like trying to put on a deep voice and then his voice cracking. Just like, tell us the truth.
Kreacher, you will do this right now.
It's like, yeah, he's not a good interrogator. Megamind levels of interrogation.
I demand that you stop talking to my friends that way.
So Kreacher like launches into his story. He describes how Regulus joined the Death Eaters after Sirius ran away, which is sad.
Yeah. It was his only choice once his only family left, and he was just left in an abusive household. And
yeah.
Well, if I'm going to get away from Mother, I need to go join the fascists.
I'm sure that Sirius and Regulus had pretty opposite ideals while they were growing up, but like, do you think they were still friends?
I have read various fanfic that debates this topic, and I'm just
compelling both ways.
I can see it both ways. They were close enough in age so that if one had to be at the root of the violence from their parents, then the other probably did too. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think there is some sympathy there, and I think once Sirius left, it was just sort of he was alone, so he went to the one place that he knew he would be around people.
Them being close and then Sirius deciding to leave definitely, I think, lends itself better to reactionarily joining like a fascist regime.
Yeah.
And like when you're kids, you really can be friends with people who like think different things from you in a way that as an adult, I would be like, no, man, you're a fascist. Like you're like a blood purist. I really can't talk to you until you work through this.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, do we really think that Sirius has enough emotional maturity to not get pissed about, because I mean, he is kind of a narcissist, right? Like, it's
Sirius?
my way or the highway.
God. It's actually really crazy that James and Sirius could be friends considering that they're both extreme narcissists.
Yeah, but that's like, because that's the part that, I don't know. I don't know if he would be able to separate that enough to be like, yeah, I can still be friends with you, though.
I know, but it's his brother. Like, you really do a lot for your brothers. I know because last weekend I was with both my brothers and one of them was being a huge jackass the entire time, but we still love him. We still love him.
Child number 2.
Yeah, it is the middle child. It's true. He struggled. Yeah, so that's interesting. I like to think that they were friends until, like, it reached a point where, like, Regulus was kind of committing to it. Like, I think that Sirius probably could have tolerated him, like, thinking about it and, like, exploring it and being, like, a Slytherin and stuff like that. But I think that once Regulus started taking real actions, and maybe treating like other students poorly for being like, what do you call them? Muggle-borns or
Mudbloods.
I don't want to say mudblood though, even though Harry says it like 16 times in this fucking book, in this chapter.
First generation magic users.
Kreacher's like, mudblood, and Harry's like, don't say mudblood. And it's like, you gotta, what we do here in the Muggle world, I know you wouldn't know Harry Potter, is we would say the M word because it's a slur and you don't want to say it.
You gotta lead by example, bud.
Yes.
He just doesn't do that.
Just two dudes screaming mudblood back and forth at each other. Regulus joined the Death Eaters after Sirius ran away, and then basically a year later, goddamn, this is like so upsetting. Regulus told Kreacher that Voldemort needed an elf.
This is going to go great.
Mm-hmm. Regulus told Kreacher to do whatever Voldemort asked and then come home. So Voldemort took Kreacher into the cavern in the cave. You know the cave from the chapter The Cave.
That fun cave.
Very deadly, yeah.
And made him drink from the basin. You know the basin, the one that weakened Voldemort before he was killed. He hid the locket. You know the locket, the one that we're looking for right now in this chapter, in the basin. And then he left Kreacher on the island. And this is like another place where Harry's like, oh, Voldemort wanted someone expendable, like a house elf. And there's no
nice way of saying that to this person you're interrogating. Oh, you are expendable to Voldemort and to us.
Definitely, yes, exactly, like, and to us, because Harry isn't like, Voldemort, the villain, would think about it that way. Or like, there's no, it's just like, well, yeah, he wanted someone expendable, like you.
It's like an explanation, not an accusation.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And this boy is the hero?
And then at some point, Harry's like, don't call my friend a mudblood. And then at some point, he does anyway, because he's really racist. He's really prejudiced. And he starts like beating himself up. And Hermione's like, well, don't you see the way they have to comply? It's terrible. And it's like, all right, Hermione, what are you doing about it? Whining?
Violating the boundaries of a person having a panic attack.
Hugging someone having a panic attack without consent is insane. Like, that is the worst thing you can do. Sure, if it's a friend, offer a hug. Kreacher is physically repelled by you, and that you're not going to change that with kindness right now.
I got a serious question for y'all, okay? And it's going to sound like a joke.
Regulus chapter.
But it's a serious question.
Okay.
I actually think it's not a serious question. He's dead.
Okay.
In that moment, is it ethical to make one more command to tell him to stop doing what he's doing?
What do you
I'm gonna
doing?
say
What do you mean
no.
doing what he's doing?
If Kreacher is punishing himself, that clearly is bad, and you don't want him to keep doing that.
Harry
but
does
if you
that.
give him the command to stop, you're still using the very. Like, I'm just saying, I think it's kind of. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's weird, right? It's weird.
I think that's like one of the only instances in which I would use that power. I would be like, stop hurting yourself. Yes.
Okay.
I think that I would not say, come here, shut up. Which Harry does. Like, I think that, yeah, that's the one time I would use it. It's like, don't hurt yourself. Yeah. I mean, Harry's 17. I'm older, but like, I think my first step would be like, hey, Kreacher, is there any, like, could I get you to stop doing that? Can you come back and try to get him to do it without commanding first?
Yeah, just be like calm about we're not gonna.
Yeah, we're just trying to talk to you. Yeah, we don't. When you are working for me, you actually don't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would strongly prefer you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to make you not do it, but I would strongly prefer that you not do it.
Prevent your friends from self-harm, guys. I feel strongly.
I am going to make you not use the racist language anymore. That one we are going to require.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. Basically, everything about this is just oogie. Because it's like making him not say the racist thing. And I know we keep saying racist. It's not racist, but you know what I mean. It's not
classist and disgusting, yeah.
Yeah, it's just prejudice. And like him not saying it is not changing anything, because as far as we've seen, the term like has not really bothered Hermione. It's a slur from a community she didn't grow up in, and like she doesn't seem affected by it in this moment, and it's not changing the way Kreacher thinks. So it's like I don't even need him to stop saying the slur. He's a character who says slurs, you know?
I mean, it did affect her in the second book, though.
This is 5 years later. She's had time to grow a thick skin.
And that was Malfoy. Like, I think that when there's mental illness involved, like there is with Kreacher, it's easier to give grace about stuff like that. I'm not saying that your grandpa with Alzheimer's should just go around screaming the N-word, but like there's more nuance to
you hear
it.
that, listeners? Don't have your grandpa do that.
Yeah.
I think the trauma.
Firm stance.
Yeah, the trauma.
Trauma of 19 years holding on to this secret and this locket is just sort of affecting Kreacher.
Yeah, I guess that's the other point, Claire, is like, even if he's making slurs and stuff, like, he is, channeling a trauma right now. He's, like, back in that trauma. He's having a panic attack. Classic, the body keeps the score shit. So, like, the point right now is not his language choices. Talk about that later. You're in, like, a moment of heightened emotion right now. It's not the time to police his language.
Yeah.
Fuck this. Fuck Voldemort. Fuck Harry. Fuck Kreacher, kind of. Fuck Sirius. Fuck his mom. Fuck Regulus for letting this happen to Kreacher. What do you make of that, Claire? Why did he let this? Do you think Regulus knew what would happen?
Like, what do you mean? Like, do you think...
Do we think Regulus knew that Voldemort was going to take advantage of Kreacher in this way and then leave him to die?
Yeah, I think Regulus knew that Voldemort went there thinking Kreacher would die. So I think Regulus calling him back was sort of like, haha, I let him come back so he didn't die on your watch.
Oh, and he could disapparate, unlike Dumbledore, because of his specific elf magic, which is stronger than wizard magic, even though we never talk about that really, except for when it's plot convenient.
This is the only plot convenient time, apparently.
Can I offer somewhat of a life raft?
Well, we're going to need it. There's a lot of Inferi in this lake.
Just knowing the way that Voldemort usually operates, I'm not sure it was a volunteer position.
What?
Because if Regulus was fucking up, I could totally see Voldemort being like, all right,
punishment.
I'm going to use your house elf to go and do this. Because, you know, I'm Voldemort and I'm a terrible, terrible thing.
I feel like he would have said that. I'm Voldemort. I'm terrible.
Blah. But I'm just saying, like, I could see that be Regulus describing it to Kreacher so that Kreacher maybe doesn't know that he's walking into a death thing. But like, you know, because you're hoping, even if it's Voldemort, you're kind of hoping that it's at least going to be like quick, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the way that to this very day, Draco is still being punished for his father's failures at the end of book 5. No, book 5.
Five, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the man can hold a grudge. So later, Regulus, I guess after he kind of had his change of heart, he asked Kreacher to take him to the cave with a fake locket.
We've all been there. Take me to the cave with a fake locket.
Baby.
I need to know where you went.
That does sound like a lyric to a song I would have listened to. 2007, 2008. Take me to a cave with a fake locket.
Put it in your pocket. Regulus drank the potion and ordered Kreacher to switch the lockets, ordered him to return home and destroy the locket. Kreacher had to watch the Inferi drag Regulus under the water and drown him.
Yeah.
After that, he came home and could not destroy the locket because it's a fucking Horcrux. And I guess Regulus just had no way of knowing that they were kind of indestructible in that way. But so he's like dealing with the tragedy of having and the trauma of like having watched. I don't want to say his master, even though that's what he is, but like the person he has like
family.
his only family, yeah, like the closest person to him in the world, watching them be like viciously murdered and drowned, which is like not a cute, peaceful death. And then he could not complete Regulus's final order to destroy the locket. Probably did a lot of self-punishment, maybe caused himself brain damage. Maybe that's what is going on here. We don't know. And then he couldn't tell anyone what had even happened to Regulus when Regulus went missing. He couldn't ask for help with the locket because he had been sworn to silence. It's very upsetting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm like, conversation, but it's like, there's nothing else to say. It's just extremely upsetting.
I can't make this funny, so I'm sorry.
It's
reliving old traumas, but
well, and it does kind of show one of the issues with J.K. Rowling's writing, which is that because she fails a lot of times to make those emotional connections that she's trying to, when she does genuinely do something like gut-wrenching, it's usually like out of nowhere. Or it feels like it's
I feel like it's usually out of nowhere and at great expense to someone, quote, expendable, unquote, like Kreacher.
Or like Regulus, because Regulus didn't matter up until this chapter. He was mentioned twice or 3 times before this, and I'm just like, we're supposed to care.
Yeah, like what if him and Sirius were like meshed into like one character that we cared about more? Or like what if Regulus was like also in the Marauders, or like make us care more?
Yeah.
Do we know if Sirius was friends with Andromeda?
I'm letting fan fiction just ruin my mind in this situation.
You think they would be. They both defected from like very old blood purist houses.
Yeah, and you look at his other cousins of Narcissa and Bellatrix, and you'd think, yeah, Andy's probably the one that he would talk to.
They probably smoked weed together at Christmas and stuff.
I mean, these aren't huge communities, right? So more than likely, it's pretty well divided in the community between those that are like bigoted shitheads and non-bigoted shitheads. And you're either a Malfoy or you're a Weasley. Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure that like the community's not going to be that crazy large, right? It's just bound that they probably would have known each other.
Well, no, they definitely
knew
knew each other. They're related. That's why I'm asking if they were like friends. If there's evidence.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling can't write friendship, really, so I don't really have a good answer for that.
You're right about that.
What a surprise. What a shocking surprise.
Oh my god. I look every single day at my Facebook memories because I have officially now been on Facebook for over 17 years.
Dear
God. And like, Claire.
Are you proud of yourself?
And so like, let's just say that the stuff I was posting in 2007 is extremely embarrassing.
I'm sure it's great.
Around this time in 2007, I started dating this guy named Ari. If you want to learn more about him, go check out Burn Before Reading. And today on my Facebook memories in 2007, my friend Jocelyn posted on my wall and said something like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited you guys are dating. You don't mind that I hugged him, right?" Which is like the kind of thing that 17-year-olds are like, "Can I hug your boyfriend?" Which is so fucking funny. Because these days I'm like, kiss my husband on the mouth. I don't give a shit.
Do it, make him squirm.
It's like big Ron energy, I feel like. Like, are you hugging Hermione? It's like, you haven't even asked her to be your girlfriend yet, man. Calm down.
You're going to need at least 2 chaperone dates before we let you go on an unchaperoned one.
So Harry orders Kreacher to go get Mundungus, which is like, I know that Harry doesn't do this for altruistic reasons, but it's probably pretty good for Kreacher to have a job that he feels like personally attached to. He's like, I'm going to go bring this guy to justice, this thief. So, and it gets their goals aligned, which is like how Harry ultimately gets Kreacher on his side. So this works out for everyone. Harry gives Kreacher the fake locket, and it's actually pretty funny because Ron's like, "That's overkill, mate," as Kreacher's like dissolving into tears.
Let him have this one resolve of his 19-year-old trauma.
Oh my God. That's overkill.
Ron, I'm going to do one of the few generally good things that I've done my entire life. The other one being freeing Dobby. Here we go. Ready? Here it is. And Ron's just like, too much. Nope.
No.
Well, shut it down. Shut it down.
No more generosity for you, bud.
Ron's been team don't coddle the house elves this entire time.
Yeah.
Well,
He's team let's go pick on the garden gnomes.
I mean, at least he didn't try to hug a creature while he was having a panic attack and a mental breakdown. Jeez.
Oh my god.
Ron was just there.
So, friends, listeners, here's what you do. If your friend is having a panic attack, first
if your
thing,
friend's a Nazi.
if your friend is, no, it's your regular friend who's not a Nazi. If they're having a panic attack, they're breathing, they might be crying, there's some emotion happening. What you say is, first of all, say, are you okay? Can I get you anything? Can I bring you a chair? Can I bring you a glass of water? Those are the first steps. Do you need to sit down or lay down even? Do you need a glass of water? If they're like, I'm fine, then what you do is you say, would a hug help this situation? Almost 100% guarantee they're gonna say no. But there's some people where they might say yes. You say, would a hug help? No. And then you stop thinking about a hug for the next 45 minutes. The hug is completely off the table now. And then you move on, say, do you want some privacy or do you want me to stay here with you? You literally, when your friend's having a panic attack, change their entire environment around them to facilitate them getting through this. And then you can talk about what happened. You know what I mean?
Tina, I don't think you have to worry about if someone has a panic attack around me. I have seen so many things on TikTok that have told me exactly how to handle that situation. I will have them in perfectly good condition in like 3 minutes. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. What are the tips? What you tell us?
I mean, it's a lot of stuff, you know.
You'd have to pull up all your saved TikToks in the moment.
Yeah, I see, and I'm just about to show how low I know. I have a playlist of those TikTok saved individual links in my notes app.
Do you use TikTok?
No, this is entirely fictitious. I don't even know if you can save playlists. That's why I had to kind of
I knew you were bullshitting the whole time, but I was like, there's no way Andrew would be too private for every social media app except TikTok. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
To have it and to just never have mentioned it and never have done anything with it.
That's the end of the chapter. Claire, is there anything you want to mention that we didn't get to, or stuff you want to underline, or if you have any more fan theories and fan fiction that you've read that relates to the stuff we've talked about today? I'd love to hear more about that too. But no pressure.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
Okay.
No, I'm usually...
You got it all out?
Yeah, I think I got everything out for this chapter, so...
Andrew, any final words?
No. No.
Okay.
I thought there might have been something, but no. I'm just going to go cry in a corner now.
My final words are that I think that Sirius and especially Regulus are extremely interesting characters that we don't get enough about, which I think is why especially Regulus... No, I mean, Sirius, I think... The amount of, I was going to say the end of the sentence, they get so much fan fiction written about them. I think Sirius gets a lot of fan fiction, and he is a really important big part of the Harry Potter story in general. Regulus gets a shit ton of fan fiction for what a small role he plays, I think, which is really interesting. So I think that other people think he's as interesting as I do. I would love to know more about what happened in between the three main points we got in his story from this chapter.
Yeah, and I can probably send you some good ones.
Hell yeah. If you want to send a couple, I'll pop them in the show notes in case the listeners want to read them.
Oh, yeah. I am always down to share fanfic with people.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And I almost never read fanfic, so it's not like I can just go into the wild. It's and find fan fiction on my own. It's I shouldn't go hunting for mushrooms or fan fiction without an expert by my side.
You need someone to cultivate the idea of fanfic and mushrooms for you. I need
a fanfic forager. Hell yeah. Ready to move on to plugs?
Sure.
Claire, do you want the people to find you on the internet?
Not really. You can read my fanfic on AO3 if you want.
Oh, hell yeah. What's your name? Well, username?
Yeah, my username's CMK Lincoln, so I have 6 up there.
Hell
So
yeah.
if people want to read them, they can, but otherwise I'm a recluse on internet. So
I respect it. And what is something you've been reading or watching or playing or listening to or thinking about or dreaming about lately that you think the listeners would enjoy?
Recently I've been listening to an artist that I really loved in like high school that I recently repicked up. Hunter Hayes has like 5 albums out. He's a singer-songwriter who does a lot for mental health and just sort of putting what he feels and all these complex feelings into really wonderful songs. So his discography is great.
Hell yeah. Thanks so much for the rec. I'm always, always, always down for music recs because I listen to music all day long while I'm working. Andrew, what are you plugging today?
I downloaded a book by a philosopher that I was
dangerous.
read oh my God. So like I'm not a good student of philosophy. I'm not like very well oriented with like anything beyond a 101 class. But there's a book called Consciousness Explained by Daniel Dennett. And it is, I'm not going to lie, it's the opposite of an easy read because you'll just read things like 3 times and still not have actually like comprehended it, right? But it is fascinating.
Did you say you're a Ravenclaw? Is that the house that you say you are?
I started off Ravenclaw and then I learned later on I'm Slytherin.
Whoa, Slytherin? Is that for real? Have we talked about that on the show?
I think so.
Because the sentence you just said was really Ravenclaw about not understanding it, even reading it 3 times. It's like, that doesn't sound good, I don't think.
No, he actually, it's funny. Well, that's not funny, but he died recently, and that podcast was talking about him.
What you would say there is, what a coincidence. He died
It's very coincidental because I heard about that. Well, it's not even coincidental because that's the reason that I started looking into his stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because it was prompted by a completely different podcast, and so I was like, oh, let me give it a try. And then it's like I said, it's fascinating. It is fascinating, and you feel smart when you finally understand what he's saying. But like, it is not by any, like, I tried getting the audiobook. That's not good because it's too open. It's hard to like focus that hard on an audiobook.
I got you.
But anyways, like I said, I can't say it's good. I can't say it's bad either.
The last thing you plugged, you also were like, this isn't good.
It's joy. It's not necessarily joy that I have in my life. It's interest. If it's interesting, maybe that's good enough.
That's interesting. Because the last thing you plugged that you said was you couldn't actually say it was good was the 3 Body Problem TV show. Oh,
yeah.
And I read that book and I think it was interesting, but not good. And I can't bridge that gap in my head.
It's weird when something does that, though, right? Because, like, when something can genuinely pique your interest, but you're like, man, I wish I just cared more.
Like the 1984 Dune, that I was like, this is going to be such a trip. And then it was so bad that it wasn't even funny.
Right.
It was, like, very seriously bad.
Yeah.
Let's watch it again. I've been your host, Christina. You know where to find me. And I have a couple... I've been reading pretty slowly lately. It happens. I get busy. But I'll have some more book recs for you soon. I'm trying to blast through some cool shit. I'm reading Master of Jinn by P. Jaley Clark, which is our current book club pick for our J6 Media Book Club. If you're hearing this and you've already read the book, you can join our book club meeting next week. Or if you can read books really fast... but yeah, anyone who signs up for any of our network Patreons gets access to the book club. So think about it, because that book's really fun and we pretty much only read good, cool books. Today, I'm going to plug a couple podcasts that I've started listening to lately. I've started listening to Girlsplain podcast, which is like 2 girls talking about like contemporary feminist issues in like a very approachable way. I like it a lot. I love just like the energy of 2 friends shooting the shit about something they both care about. I also started listening to History I'd Like to Fuck, which is about just history stories, but sometimes they're pretty sexy. It's like a pretty horny energy show, even when the content is not horny at all. Kind of like this show. I love it. Like the last episode that was about Jesse James, which there was like not a lot of sex happening, but it's just kind of like a sexy story. I also started listening to Science Versus, which is like a pop science podcast. I love those. Meet me at my level of science comprehension, which is 20-minute podcast episodes. So that's that. Claire, thank you so much for coming back on the show. Oh my God, it's the last time. Every episode I realize it's the last time our guests are going to be here. But thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I don't really know how to respond to you just sobbing about this, but okay.
It's really upsetting. It's like I'm laughing, but I'm also crying. Every episode's going to get harder because I'll be saying goodbye to everyone. This is like the slowest graduation walk across the stage. It's just like one by one. Saying goodbye to my guests. You're on to bigger and better things, presumably. I don't know how you could get smaller and weirder
low.
than this podcast. Yeah, okay. So thanks, Claire, and thanks, Andrew. I appreciate the both of you very much.
You're welcome very much.
I appreciate you too.
Are you ready? Let's go kill Voldemort!
Yay!
Yay!
That was so unenthusiastic. I've never met any two people less excited to go kill Voldemort.
When do I ever have enthusiasm?
Oh my God, that was the funniest thing. That's it, potheads. Thanks for listening to The Restricted Section. Hosted and produced by me, Christina Kahn. Theme music produced by Ryan Kahn. Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Please don't find us on social media. I am not doing anything there. However, you are welcome to join our Patreon. For $1 a month, you can gain access to our Discord server, which is a lot of fun. And for $5 a month, you get access to our monthly bonus episodes. There's also a $10 and a $20 tier as well. So please go check that out. We are honored to be part of Deus Ex Media Podcast Network, which features lots of wonderful podcasts for nerds, including this one.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here. Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
One of the first things that the CIA trains their people on is how to not lean. You can recognize one of the ways that people recognize Americans so easily is because we always lean.
We lean. You've told me that before.
Yeah, we do that, like plant on one heel and like kind of lean on that while you kind of lift up the other one.
Okay, but I have fucked up knees. What am I supposed to do? I give one a break while it's twice as hard for the other knee, and that's how the world goes around.
It makes a lot more sense to do that to me too. I am American, but I'm just saying that like
it's very rare that I'm like full American about something. But the leaning thing I stand by. Catch me leaning on everything.
Deus Ex Media.